Tucked away in the hills of West Virginia lies the scenic New River Gorge. Originating in North Carolina, the New River runs north into West Virginia, eventually joining the Gauley River, which forms the Kanawha. Perhaps its most dramatic stretch is the last 60 miles before its confluence with the Gauley. The New River is thought to be the second oldest river in the world. Meandering peacefully for 200 miles from its headwaters, the New begins to drop steeply near Hinton and continues through the 1,000-foot-deep gorge for 60 miles. This spectacular last stretch provides some of the best whitewater action on the East Coast. Thousands flock to the area weekly to run the river. Near Fayetteville, the gorge is spanned by the world's longest single-span arch bridge, over 3,000 feet long and built with more than 22,000 tons of steel. This monolithic structure joins the two canyon rims, which nature has taken over 100 million years to part. This bridge has become a symbol for the area and has replaced the old symbol, coal. A new economy based on tourism and recreation has risen from the dying coal economy. From the late 1800s to the mid-1900s, coal was king. The low-sulfur coal was clean burning and proved to be an excellent source of coke for the country's steel mills. Numerous mines and communities were built virtually overnight as the mining industry prospered. By the mid-1900s, however, output decreased, and today the ruins of these once active mines and communities are being reclaimed by the forest. High up on the canyon rim, overlooking the river, sits the 325-million-year-old Nuttall sandstone. These colorful, highly resistant bands of rock, varying from 50 to 160 feet high, have recently become one of the premier rock climbing areas in the country, if not the world. Climbers from all over the East Coast and beyond journey to the New to climb on this superb rock, which so far has yielded over 1,400 climbs. Although climbing is possible year-round, the spring and autumn seasons offer the best climbing conditions, with low humidity and cooler temperatures. One of the most recent areas of development has been at Kaymore. Located on the south rim, Kaymore, once the site of an old mining town, now sports some of the steepest climbs at the gorge. Let's go see what's going on at Kaymore these days.
and the rich girls say,
The ever-present, tall, southern powerhouse of climbing, Doug Reed on Yowza 512C.
I first found the Kmore area, the access to it and whatnot, in the fall of 1990, and began climbing there and putting up roots there the following spring. The first areas that I saw were the Hellhole, the First Buttress area, and the Rico Suave buttress, all of which were quite exciting to me. The rock quality seemed extremely good and seemed to be offering a high concentration of potential sport routes at many different grades. The first route I put up in the cave was the classic there, the lactic acid bath, as it later became known. And that was one of the most prominent lines, the most prominent feature on the wall, characterized by an undercling flake at about half height, which later proved to be the crux of the route for most people anyway. And the wall being as overhanging as it is, the route was initially attacked on lead in order to equip it, and I soloed it on aid, putting in the bolts as I went, and then following that, I began trying to free climb the pitch, and succeeded in doing so after a few days' effort. The grade being 12D. I've now put up somewhere in excess of 200 routes. I know that only because Rick Thompson has told me that, and I assume that he knows. And all of those aren't sport routes. Initially, when I first started climbing the gorge, we climbed only cracks, and we thought that it was a wonderful climbing area, but there was far too much blank rock in between the cracks, and we weren't drilling any bolts at that time. Just climbing the cracks, mainly 510, 511 cracks, and at that time I established the first 511 in the gorge, which was a crack climb called Englishman's Crack, which had been attempted some prior to that, and there were bolt anchors already drilled at the top of the thing by some English person that supposedly had climbed at the gorge, and that rated 11A, and as I said, was the first 511 in the gorge. I think the New River Gorge, if it has not yet arrived there, it will someday be the premier sport climbing area in the country. It will have more sport climbs and extremely varied sport climbs, more so than any other area in the country, any other single area.
Come on in, Zach. Endless Wall on the north rim is not quite endless, but at 4 miles long, it alone would be an excellent climbing area, even if no other cliffs were present. Climbing activity began in the early 1980s, but the majority of climbs have gone in during the last 5 years. Today, over 450 climbs varying in difficulty from 5.6 through 5.13 can be found. The majority are found in the upper grades due to the nature of the sandstone. Moderately difficult 5.10s and 5.11s are the norm. Even if you don't climb the Rad Boy routes, there's something at Endless waiting for you to thrash on.
When it's raining over there, where the cool shoes meets the hot air, a couple of haircuts down the line. Maybe they'll meet again if they walk around the block one more time. West Bohemia, West Bohemia, West Bohemia. I'd just love to know, tell me where to go. West Bohemia. When I'm searching for the lost, to be different like everyone else. Got direction, say you can't miss it. I think I missed it. I missed it all together now. West Bohemia, West Bohemia, West Bohemia. I just love to know, tell me where to go. West Bohemia. Every day it was the same old scene. Rock to the beat if you know what I mean. All the cats on tape think I'm out of sight, cause I'm so fucking white. Like ginger rotters in a Fred Astaire's on the entertainment. I know y'all don't care. Pale face and even vocal girl. Oh, show me the world. Show me the world now, baby. Gonna do now. And the weight of your old man's dough has turned your smile upside down. Oh yeah. When it's raining over there, where the cool shoes meets the hot air, couple of haircuts down the line. Maybe they'll meet again
Howie Feinsilber on his first 513A red point, Quinsana, at Central Endless.
My goals in climbing are kind of indistinct because I guess one goal is to climb as hard as I can, climb the most difficult routes as I can. The other goal is to climb as much as I can. And I don't expect to be a world-class climber, but just the personal satisfaction from climbing and climbing hard, drives me to just to climb more. My goal is not like to be the best climber in the world, but just to be out there climbing. I get just personal satisfaction as just from achieving my goals and just being out at the crag and being with climbers, and they're just the people I want to be with, and everyone has everyone likes to talk about climbing because it's like it's a personal thing, but you like to share it with everyone as far as your goals and how you're doing, and so when you're out of the crag and you climb with these people that you like being with, and it that's just what I like doing best, and that's why I get out of it. So I've spent a summer traveling around all out west and climbing in many areas out there, and then this fall decided to spend the whole season here. And after traveling all the other areas, I realized the new is by far the best area to get to be a strong climber, because there's so much variety of climbers. There's from really steep, some of the steepest stuff around, to very technical face climbing, and then there's just so much rock, so many routes that you could spend many years here and not do all the stuff you want to do. So this, I think, is one of the best places in the country. The motivation for climbing is that it's so mentally and physically challenging. So you challenge yourself to such an extent that you just become totally involved in it, personally involved in the climbing, and you set goals for yourself and work towards them, and besides the fact that the climbing itself is such a fun thing to do, just mentally you set goals. Mentally you have to deal with when you lead, potential for taking long falls or getting injured, and you have to stay in control, and there's just so much to it that it's quite a challenge. Well, in Quinsana, when I first worked it, what I thought was the crux move was a move where you have to get this kind of slopey two-finger pocket and crank on that, and that's what I thought was the crux. And there's a move after that's real hard, but I got that first try, so I thought the pocket move was the crux. But after going for red point attempts, and I found the right sequence in the pocket move, the last move became the crux, because once you get there, you get real pumped, and you have to crank on this small tweaker, get your feet high. But that was definitely the crux for a red point attempt, because you're pumped by the time you get there.
Beauty Mountain is the easternmost section of cliff to be developed, and was one of the first to see climbing activity in the early 80s. At 3/4 of a mile long, the cliff has roughly 150 climbs. Like most of the cliffs at the gorge, access usually requires a 10 to 15 minute walk along well-established trails. The spectacular views from Beauty are alone worth a trip out to this popular crag. Harrison Decker on the brilliant climb Chunky Monkey, graded 512B at Beauty Mountain.
I've definitely met a different mix of people that climb here as compared to other places I've lived, like Boulder or Berkeley, that it's a different variety of people. That may be because we're in the 1990s now and things are changing a bit, but I see fewer of the climbing bum types and a lot more people like myself who work and come on weekends and pursue it like some sort of yuppie fitness craze, like it's becoming. But you do see some interesting personalities, and overall I guess I get some enjoyment out of seeing the different types of people. There's always been a reluctance of Western climbers to travel to the east. There's always been a few who did, but you don't get the number of migrating climbers like you do out west, where California climbers will go to Utah or Colorado. And I guess that's because you have to make that big trip across the country through all that land where there isn't much climbing. Whereas a climber in California can get to City of the Rocks or Smith Rocks in a day's drive. So I guess that's probably the main thing. Certainly it's not because of lack of publicity. Also, this place the weather here has a bad reputation. Although I always tell people out west that I climb every weekend, and never have I not climbed coming up here on a weekend. I definitely climb more now than I used to, and I guess that's just testimony to the quality of the climbing here. I also like to climb because it's something that my wife and I can do together, and I think I'm more motivated because I can do it with her. If I was just coming up here and hanging out with guys every weekend, I probably wouldn't be nearly as motivated, or I wouldn't have as much fun. I think a lot of couples don't really have something in particular, or something as intense as climbing, that they can do together on a regular basis. So that really helps my motivation too. I was trying to think of ways that this climbing area could be improved, and it definitely needs better restaurants, a place to get cappuccino, a campground, giant air conditioner in the summer.
Harrison Decker on one of the classic hard lines at the gorge, Travesty, graded 513 CD.
Most rad route? Definitely Travesty. No, I don't know. It's hard for me. I usually appreciate difficulty in climb, so I guess I'm most impressed by Scott Franklin's route Mango Tango. I'm not really sure what a 514 is like because I haven't been on any, so I don't know how much harder or how much more sustained something like Travesty would have to be considered 514. I don't know if it's a matter of having more hard moves or just more sustained climbing or what. So it's kind of hard for me to judge just because I haven't been on any 514s in any other areas. Travis Eisman from Tennessee visited here a couple of years ago and saw the line, worked on it, and couldn't do one section. So he carved a couple holds in the rock and then was able to climb it. Porter Gerard worked on it for a while, and he was just about to red point it, and then someone, I'm not sure who, convinced him to fill in the holds. Maybe he decided on his own, I don't know, but anyway, Porter filled in the holds with glue to bring them back to bring the rock surface back to its original state. And then he wasn't able to get up to his high point anymore because he couldn't climb the move that Travis wasn't able to climb. So it sat there for about a year, and I finally got on it. I'd been thinking about trying it for a while, and I had done all the moves, I think, when the old chipped holds were in it. And I went up on it a couple times and wasn't sure if I could do the move either. And then I just tried it one day, and I was able to grab this small hold and reach to the next one. And I figured if I could do that, I could hit the good holds after that. And just started working on it. And over the course of probably 4 or 5 weekends, giving it a few tries every day, because I couldn't really try it a lot because it really wore my fingers out. I was able to link it. I had gotten really close in the spring one year, and then it just got too hot and humid. So as soon as it cooled off the next fall, I did it. But I sort of want to keep doing it just so I don't get complacent.
During the fall of 1991, Dan Osman, a visiting Californian, completed one of the most difficult solos to date at the New River Gorge, the Gun Club, an extremely difficult climb over 100 feet high and graded 512 BC. For those of you unfamiliar with rock climbing, Dan's outrageous solo is without a rope backup. One slip from the fingertip edges and his fate is sealed. To improve his psych factor, Dan is listening to his favorite heavy metal band. The next few moves are the most difficult. Small sloping quarter-inch edges for the fingers and even less for the feet. Concentration is of the utmost importance. Successfully pulling off the crux, Dan now has almost 80 feet of continuous 511 climbing to contend with, characterized by small positive holds and long reaches. capturing this event on film is photographer and climber Jay Smith. Although the rope appears deceivingly close, any effort on Dan's part to lunge for it would be hopeless.
Okay, going. I'm going here real quick. I'm gonna collect the rest of it. Be resting here for a minute. Fucking sweat off it. Wow.
At this point, Dan has almost completed the climb. 100 feet off the deck, he approaches the last difficult move. As you can imagine, any break in his concentration could have disastrous results. Ooh. Now the killing.
All right, man. Get up here off the ground again.
Excellent.
Yeah!
I think the rad part was the crux for sure. Getting past that 16th of an inch edge, and then another one, 3/32. Pretty gnarly.
3:30 seconds. Oh yeah, that's a bomber one.
Yeah,
After her 16th.
that's definitely, I think, the raddest solo I've ever done. Killer route, so good. You should do it.